So where does the murder of DiyaBharti fit into the dark side of Bollywood? The industry does have some dark secrets. This we first gotta understand the underworld. The organized crime structure in India is known as the underworld. And the underworld has a hierarchy. Local dealers look up to gangsters, gangsters look up to local mobsters, and then the mobsters look up to a head boss, the Don. Head Don and #1 gangster of India is Dawood Ibrahim. This guy. Now, he has a really long story. It's actually pretty fascinating how he became the Don. Where does this all play into Bollywood? Let's just get into that first. So by the 70s and 80s, Bollywood had become the biggest industry in India. I mean, they're not wrong. Mumbai's where it's at. Now, the Bollywood industry was a fresh industry. It means it didn't have that many connections to the government. Organized crime had a hard time moving money around, especially with political parties like Shiv Sena running around. So they gotta figure out a new way to move money. However, the industry had a bigger internal problem. The Kapoor family. Literally one family running the entire business. But remember, every crisis is an opportunity in disguise. And this was the underworld's biggest opportunity. This little dilemma opened up a lot of gates for the underworld. Let's talk about some ties. So what ties does the underworld, the organized crime structure of India, have with Bollywood? Well, to put it simply, money laundering and extortion. How does that lead to numerous murders? We'll get to it. You see, the underworld's tactic was kind of simple. Just fund the people that need funding. Because it's already hard to become successful with the Kapoor family. They're taking home all the big bucks. How can anyone even compete? You need funding, right? So the underworld started to fund a bunch of different producers, giving them money for the film. Now, investing in a film is like investing in stocks. Put in X amount of money first, and then the return makes a lot more. But this is money laundering. There's no contract. So the crime bosses give the money, and then once the movie is made, they try to extort the money. This extortion process got a lot of businesses going. Ibrahim created the D Company. It's basically his organized crime gang, and it's not just in Mumbai, it's actually pretty international. They have bases in Dubai, London, Singapore, Colombo, Kathmandu, Karachi, and Mumbai. Remember Dubai. They also have links to Al-Qaeda and ISI. One of the largest links is the 1993 bomb explosion of Mumbai. This is why Sanjay Dutt went to jail, right? Well, the guns used were stored at his place. But 1993 is also when DiyaBharti was murdered. See, the underworld has many connections to Bollywood, but D Company is not just the underworld. Dawood Ibrahim is just one of the gangsters. He's the head Don. There's many others like Abu Salim, Chota Rajan, Chota Shakil, Ali Buddesh. These are all like big gangsters, and they all have their hands in the Bollywood pockets. The film industry is not the only industry they had their foot in. Many actors and actresses were actually launched by them. I mean, the gangsters funded the movie, so they kind of had a say on who gets in the movie. Oh yeah, also, guess who also has a connection? That's Dawood Ibrahim, that's Salman Khan. Let's not forget, this is the second most wanted man after El Chapo. He's not no regular crime lord, he's a Don. The Salman connections go way back. Back in the day, Salman and Aishwarya used to date. One of the recorded conversations, Salman asked Aishwarya to perform at Abu Salim's party, like a little private event by the gangster. He calls her a lot of stuff and he's pretty abusive. But one of those important pieces of info he dropped was that Choi Choi Chukwe Chukwe, their movie together, was actually funded by Chota Shakil. Now, Salman is the biggest mentor of Suraj Pancholi, who used to date Jia Khan, who was found dead in her apartment without a suicide note. As weird as that is, Suraj was also in competition with Sushnat Singh Rajput. He was 10 times better. Now, this is no coincidence. And now the death of DiyaBharti is starting to make sense. She was a new face in the industry, but she started to know a lot about the underworld. The underworld has been doing dealings for years. She was a fresh face. They can't trust that, especially with potential info on the 1993 bombing. I don't think she was safe with all the producers mixing with the underworld. Mahesh Bhatt, Bonnie Kapoor, Rakesh Roshan, they've all been involved in extortion cases. There's a specific reason I mentioned those names. Rakesh Roshan got shot for not giving extortion money for Kaho Na Pyar Hai. Yes, Kaho Na Pyar Hai was partially funded by the underworld. Rakesh Roshan made this movie to launch his son. The movie was mad successful and got a lot of money. He was shot when he refused to give 2 crore rupees. Mahesh Bhatt was married to Parveen when she mysteriously died in the rise of her career. Bonnie Kapoor married to Sridevi, who was mysteriously found dead in her bathtub in Dubai. And guess who's in Dubai? Dawood Ibrahim. While Abu Salim is in prison, Dawn of India is hiding somewhere in the Middle East. Now, Sridevi has been one of the queens of Bollywood for years. She was starting to make a comeback. In the rise of her comeback, she mysteriously passes away in a country where D Company operates. Not to mention, DiyaBharti, Jia Khan, and Sushnat Singh Rajput went to the same hospital after they died. And the autopsy has been corrupted. This is just a sprinkle of what's going on. You're absolutely correct. How are these corrupt organizations still intact? Like, we know they're corrupt. How are they still in business, right? You see, there will be law and order. And the world doesn't work that way. When it comes to power, it's either that you have it or you own it. It sounds the same, but it's different. You see, Bollywood is being run by gangsters and dons like Dawood Ibrahim. But Ibrahim didn't just get there out of nowhere. Even the don has a bap, a father, a mentor that taught him how to be don. Enter Haji Mustan. Haji Mustan was Mumbai's don during the 60s and the 80s. He paved the way for the entire mafia. Ibrahim, Abu Salim, Chota Shakil, they all came from him. But notice how it says Indian filmmaker. Haji Mustan played it a little differently. Remember what I said about power. You either have it or you own it. All throughout the 60s, 70s, and 80s, he had the power. But now the industry is growing larger. You can't just pay off the corrupt system and the political figures. So he did the next best thing. He just started his own political party. Parties in India run differently. There are actually smaller local parties that run the districts. And the larger parties like BJP or Congress come and manage these. So Haji Mustan just created his own party and took control of an area, paving a connection between the underworld and the political parties. So why can't they see through the corruption? Because they're all corrupt.